Hey there everybody, my name is Trudy, One Grounded Angel. I'm going to read some oracle cards for you for the week starting Monday, April the 12th to the 18th, 2021. So if you're new to these videos, this is something I do every week. I like to shuffle cards until the right card jumps out. Sometimes I get a message from Spirit to stop and I'll take the one off the top. And the purpose of these cards is to give you guidance that will help you through whatever's coming up for you on that particular day. But I should preface that by saying that the dates don't matter hugely because I'm in a different time zone. I'm in Australia, many of you are in the Northern Hemisphere, and often people say they're seeing the cards for a day before where they are. Doesn't matter. And sometimes the algorithm on Instagram will throw up a card that's, weeks old, but I like to say that's because it is the message you most need at that time. So oracle cards or angel cards are not designed to predict the future. They're designed to give us guidance on clarity on what's going on in an issue, so we can make better choices and we can really understand what it is we need to work on. So I've just shuffled for Monday, and this is the card that's come up, Open Your Heart. So this is Monday the 12th. Before I go into this card, just a quick note, Monday is the new moon of Aries. So new moons are a time of new beginnings. It's a good time to set some goals for the next 6 months. Aries is a very independent, action-focused card. So it's good to get started on something that you're really committed to. You might feel like a sense of momentum coming through or some energy to help you. Aries is like the toddler of the zodiac. It wants to do things its way. So if you're doing something that is a breaking away from the crowd, a trailblazer, it is a disruptive type of enterprise, this is a really good time to do that. So moving on to this card, Open Your Heart, Red Rose. So this, obviously this is talking about romance, but I like to think of heart wounding in a larger capacity. So it could be around the heart chakra, if there are blocks in your heart chakra that are preventing you from opening up to relationships, to being authentic in relationships, to anything where you can be going to a new level in your relationships. So this does include, to me, friendships as well, family relationships. It may be coming up for you in regards to one particular relationship, and it may be that you're facing a situation with someone at the moment and this is the answer to that, or maybe not the answer, but maybe it's going to raise more questions, but this is telling you what's going on here. So you're getting blocked, this is coming up for you, you're reacting the way you're reacting, you're closing down when you need to be opening up because of some old wounding around the heart. And the heart is very delicate. It does not want to be exposed to more hurt. So sometimes we kind of build walls around it without intending to. So this is something that is best worked through, depending on what it is, with an energy healer, such as myself, but it doesn't have to be me, because heart stuff is hard to shift on your own. It can be done, of course, but it's challenging. And I think you may not need to go to that level, or maybe that you just need to be aware of this is why you're reacting the way you're reacting. You're getting defensive because you're worried about getting hurt, or you're perceiving as some sort of threat here. Maybe there's something going on. Maybe this is connected to something from the past that you have not actually healed from, and you need to revisit that. So that could be definitely coming up in other relationships besides your primary romantic one or in dating. If you are single, that card can sometimes come up to indicate that the reason you're struggling with dating, or the reason that you are trying to avoid dating, maybe because of some old wounding around the heart that needs some energy healing to move through. Tuesday, body care. This card very rarely comes up. I have not seen, well, in my readings anyway. So this is one of the original card decks, the OG that I have. Body care, there's two things. It could be about your body image. If you've got a troubled relationship with your body or a problematic relationship, this may be asking you to work through that. But for most of us, it's just a reminder of the value of looking after our physical health. it doesn't make sense, all of us collectively, our individual physical health. So it's a really solid foundation. It's really difficult to have good mental health, to have good emotional health, good spiritual health, if the physical health is lacking. And that's not to say you have to be perfectly healthy. Health is a spectrum. We move along it at different points. But if you are neglecting your health, that is something that this card is calling you to account for. So if you are not giving yourself the water, the nutrients, the exercise, the sleep that you need, that's impacting you in a lot of different ways. So really making that foundation a priority, that's can be as simple as that. And even if you are doing those things, is there something your body might be trying to tell you at the moment that you're not perhaps taking on board? I'll just leave that there. Wednesday's card, if you get nervous, focus on service. If you are a healer or a light worker, this is one of the best mottos you could ever get, because even after all these years of doing this work, I still sometimes get nervous when I'm reading for clients or doing an energy healing session, because you're doing work where people are placing a lot of trust in you. And it's very easy to start worrying that you might let them down. And if you go into that vortex, you're not going to do a good job. So you have to be able to park their ego. And this is a good way to help you do that. If you get nervous, focus on service. Take the focus off you, put the focus on the client and the work that you are doing for them. You're just a channel really anyway. As a spiritual healer or a light worker, you're just channeling the energy. It's not about you. So that can help. For most of you who are not fitting into that category, this might be asking you if maybe the pressure you're putting on yourself is coming from a place of feeling like you're not good enough, rather than from a place of genuinely wanting to help. There are two ways I'm getting a signal that this could be. People who are over-giving, running around trying to rescue people, doing lots of things, really depleting themselves to help other people. This might be a call for you to pull back from that and actually work on yourself, work on the lack within yourself, rather than trying to seek validation or feel like you're good enough in relation to what you can do for others. The other side of this is to think about if you're dealing with a lot of anxiety around how you're going in your life, or anything less specific perhaps, sometimes looking at ways that you can step into your life purpose can be a helpful way to minimize that. I'm not saying it will ever go away as such, but if we focus on what am I here to do as a soul in a human body, that can be a useful point to make some of that stuff ease away. It's not to diminish how you feel, but some of that ego stuff, it takes up way too much precious real estate in our brains, and it doesn't deserve the prominence that we give it. Thursday, this is a sensitive one. The angel is called Sonia, and it is a message about loved ones who have passed on. Every now and then I get a message from a potential client who wants me to contact they want to get a message from a loved one who has passed on, and I have to gently explain to them that's not what I do. I'm not a medium. I communicate with angels, spirit guides, etc. I don't communicate with loved ones who've passed on. They're a different realm. I go up. They're talking about really moving across, or even down in some cases. That's not what I do, which is why you often have to ground yourself before you do that work. This could be someone, maybe there's someone watching this who needs to know that a loved one is saying hello and letting you know they're okay, they're at peace, and you don't need to worry about them. Sometimes this card comes up to confirm that the messages you've have had from a loved one are genuine, because don't forget that when people pass on, they don't actually leave. The relationship continues, even though it's a very different form. There are, and there will be always, whenever this card comes up, people watching who don't resonate with any of that stuff. And the message for you is just to let you know that you are not alone, that your spirit team are with you. So it's reassurance from somewhere. It could be a person who has passed on. It could be your spiritual hierarchy, your angels, your spirit guides, your spirit team. Just letting you know that you're being looked after and that you're not alone, and that things are going to be okay one way or another. So I like to think of that card as reassurance. If it's not the message about people who've passed on, if that part doesn't resonate with you. Oh, I love these cards so much. Friday's card, chaos and conflict. You probably will see this better when I actually post it on Instagram, but it has the most fabulous illustration of a zebra / giraffe with the outer giraffe kind of shell, if you call it that, crumbling away. And so there's two ways to look at that. It could be if you're trying to pretend to be something you're not. Maybe you're going for an incident which is exposing your true colours in ways that you maybe are not necessarily comfortable with because you've worn that armour as a protective. And it may be asking you to get a little bit more comfortable with being yourself in a gentle way, because we don't want to completely throw off all that armour all at once. That's terrifying for our energy. Chaos and conflict also is a call to people who are deliberately chasing drama. Maybe deliberately is not the right word. Maybe it's more inadvertently chasing drama, creating problems, because that's what they're used to. They grew up in a household where there was no stability, there was constant fighting or drama or something like that. Or B, because they're trying to distract themselves from something that needs attention. You can see this a lot with people who, I'm trying to think of an example. Actually, I'm not going to tell that story. I just realized it wasn't a good example at all, but this does come up when we've got something that we need to work on. Maybe we're going through a challenging time, maybe our relationship is needing some attention, or we're not feeling good about ourselves. So because we are wired to avoid pain, we start looking for distractions. We might pick a fight with someone else, or we've been hurt by someone, so we start shouting at someone else, or maybe we start looking for problems that aren't really there in our relationship because we are so scared of being abandoned that we want to try and preempt it. So we go looking for the problems. I'm painting in very broad brushstrokes here, but maybe some of that will resonate for you. Just looking at where the chaos and conflict is coming up. Are you looking for it? Are you creating it because it's keeping you safe in a way, or making you feel comfortable even though it's also yucky and uncomfortable? I'm throwing out a lot of different messages here because I'm honestly not sure which one is the right one. Well, right is not perhaps the most appropriate word here, because there is no right answer in spirituality, unfortunately. But I'm throwing out different responses because I'm not getting a strong lead in either way. There's always multiple meanings to the cards, and I go with the one that resonates most strongly for me, that I think that people most need to hear, but I'm getting pulled in a lot of different directions here, so I'm just sharing everything. The other thing is, if you are going through something, I keep coming back to the way this is crumbling, this facade. If you're going for a situation where things feel like they're crumbling for you, it could be the reassurance that what's underneath is going to be better. And it's so freaking hard to see this at the time. And I'm thinking of an example where I was made redundant in my job, which is a very common experience in the industry my background is, which is journalism. I've always ended up better, but it didn't feel like that at the time because it wasn't my say-so that the job was being taken away. Didn't have any control over it. I didn't know how things were going to work out. If you can't see how things are going to look, it is difficult to trust that it's going to be right, even though it happened to me 3 times actually, but one of the times I had a very strong intuitive message that it was going to work out for me and that I needed to pull away from that job anyway. But it's still terrifying because we're humans and we like to think that we need to be in control to feel safe. And so, that quote I often use, faith is about being able to about taking the first step even though you can't see the whole staircase. That's one that often comes up in those situations. It is difficult. We need to be able to trust the universe. Hard to do. So I say take it gradually in that one and just focus on what's right in front of you, and do that next. Do that right thing that's in front of you, the thing that will take you closer to something better. And you can always talk to your angels, ask for reassurance. I talked about signs last week briefly. You might like to refer back to that post from Saturday. about asking for signs if you need it. A breath of fresh air coming through on Saturday, play. This is actually a very Aries type of message. Aries love to have fun, although they also like to work hard. So this is really about trying to get a better balance between the work and the play. And the play is the thing that often gets lost. If we're not focusing on our jobs, we're often focusing on our obligations, our life admin, our maintenance in terms of our relationships. This play gets shoved to the side, but play is how we learn to be in the moment, to really enjoy our lives, to allow ourselves to feel pleasure. It's often how we work out problems without intending to as well. So play is something that is massively underrated but so beneficial. So looking for things to, or sometimes we have to create these moments actually to have fun. They don't necessarily come up by themselves. Although if they do come up by themselves, if you're really busy, you might just overlook them or go, not now, not now, not now. Maybe the thing you need to do is go, okay, now. So if that's not happening, then yeah, manufacture them, that's fine. And this doesn't have to be a big commitment. I'm not suggesting you take a day off and go to the beach, although that sounds awesome. Just doing something that will bring you some joy, even if that's not super convenient. And I feel like we've had so many messages lately about passion and joy and fun, and it always depresses me a bit, or it doesn't depress me, it makes me feel a bit depressed that we need to be reminded to do that, but we do. Here we are. So Sunday, a favourable outcome, super reassuring here, letting us know that things will work out favourably for us, for all parties involved. You'll notice that, well, maybe notice the scales here, depending on, that light is super annoying on these shiny surface cards. Scales could be a legal issue or a contractual kind of negotiation thing you're going through, that letting you know things will work out in your favour. This one's came up for someone who was going through a custody negotiation, but it's probably not that specific for the majority of you. So for most of us, it's just more generally about letting you know that things are going to work out okay. And maybe that harks back to what I said earlier about we don't know what the outcome is, and we're called to trust that the universe has got our back and keep showing up. So really reassuring messages this week. And we have yeah, I don't even know how to categorize them, to be honest. It's all over the place. We've got some relationship healing. We've got, looking at our relationship with drama and problems, and a reminder to have some fun. Quite the mixed bag. Hopefully this brings you some reassurance. Don't forget to post on my Instagram when I put each card up each day and the ways that the card speaks to you. If you want to, no pressure, because it often helps other people as well. But that's entirely up to you. I do understand that there are a lot of people who see those posts and don't say anything, and that's absolutely fine. They always reach the people who need them the most. And I just really enjoy seeing the comments as well, even though sometimes I'm too busy to respond myself. Also on Facebook, One Grounded Angel is my page. And if you'd like to reach out to me to hear or find out a bit more about the way I work, my website is www.onegroundedangel.com. The work I do one-on-one with people is over Zoom, and it is a combination of a lot of different things, including reading cards for people, bringing through energy healing, which is very powerful. Sometimes we do dream interpretation, sometimes we do mentoring, all sorts of things go on in that sessions, and I go with my intuition tells me we need to go. So that's how it works, and you can find out more on my website. And also that website has a lot of different articles about things like how to communicate with your intuition, how to understand signs, how to use shielding to protect yourself if you're an empath, tons of things. So check it out if you're interested. Thanks for being here, everybody, and I'll be back next week. Take care.